Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next comment or question comes from XP50 Player. And this is in response to Nautilus, just a repackage, and Kronos is deep, deep, deep. A video I did in September 2022. And XP50 Player writes, the playing field between online and brick and mortar retailers in the USA has been more or less levelled in the past few years. It does seem that way, with many, especially retailers in the UK, choosing the fact that their online offering and their shop offering, I'm thinking specifically of Absolute and Antiton's because they're the two I kind of look at, are pretty much the same. You can buy it, what you buy it for in the shop is what you buy it for on their website. The government here has cracked down on collecting sales tax from online and out-of-state resellers, so this is in the US obviously, as well as reporting of income generated by eBay and received via cash transfer apps. The only remaining advantage I see with online retailers is offering the longer term financing. That's an interesting concept, I have to be honest. And they're very interesting observations, especially about the state of physical and online sales channels in the US. As I said, in the UK, the two that I kind of look at, which is Anderton's and Absolute, because they have physical showrooms. One's in Bournemouth, one's in Guildford. In the UK, and again, what you buy it for on the website is what you buy it for in their shop. There is no difference. Now, you know, there are obviously some pure dedicated online portals, but you can't go and play them. And if you've made the effort to go and play it, you know, why aren't you buying it from the shop you're playing it in? That is just it's not cricket, and I don't play cricket because I think it's really boring, but that's not cricket. Anyway, I get that people are kind of fixated on saving a buck or two and go through the online routes, but the bottom line is if we don't support the physical routes, we won't have physical routes in the future. The shop I use a lot has, as I say, just no difference between online and in the shop, and to be honest, there, you know, we're talking a matter of, you know, £10 or so between them and possibly the best price you can get. But sometimes the best price you can get is not the best price you can get, because whereas Anderton's might often offer zero shipping, you have to pay shipping on the other site, so it becomes more expensive. So, you know, that's the other thing about it. You know, as I say, you get the shop prices, the web price. But if you go to the shop and buy it, you don't have to pay shipping. Haha. And to be honest, you know, it's kind of how it should be. Without these physical channels, to be honest, where else would you spend a rainy Saturday afternoon? Think about that. I can't tell you how off-putting this is, but the housemates are baking. Right? So they're baking various different things, but the smells that are wafting through from the house to the workshop are quite lovely. It's quite off-putting, it's making me quite hungry. So I'm going to try and finish this section of Mailbag and go and see what I can pinch. Anyway, this next one comes from 5-Pin Din in response to the DX7 work fine before storage U220 restore procedure. 5-Pin Din writes, Merry Christmas, John. Have a cracker no matter what you're up to. So obviously this was written around Christmas. While I'm here, I have watched many of your Yamaha FB-01 videos. Recently, when powering up my FB-01, I get one of two conditions. Either full power and everything functions fully or 50% of the screen display lights up left hand side and the unit is in a freeze-like state. Flick the switch a couple of times and hey presto, it does seem to catch. Does this sound like anything you've ever come across? Any recommendations as to what components might have to be changed? Or how about this wild idea? Use this as an opportunity to teach one or three of us how to do simple functions with a multimeter. Again, no big deal if it doesn't cut it. I always have the fallback of the Kronos in DX7 mode should I need an FM fix. Jingle all the way. Okie dokie. So anyway, I wished 5pin did happy Christmas, and I actually took pretty much. I didn't do any video recording over Christmas until the first week of January, and there's a simple reason for that. It was bitterly cold out here. We had too much stuff in the where I've got my keyboard set up for playing, and to be honest, I just needed the break. Anyway, the symptoms, if I'm honest, if you get this sort of stuff, again, I'm going through generally how I would proceed with this. Sounds more like a connection problem rather than anything else. Either a cable is not correctly inserted into a socket or you've got a dry joint on a board. So I'd be looking for dry joints. Remember, trusty magnifying glass is what you need for board inspection because you won't see the things necessarily with the naked eye. If it is a dry joint, remember you need to reflow the solder. So you need a good soldering iron, flux. Just put the flux on the solder, soldering iron on the solder. Wait for it to melt, and just reflow, and then that should fix your dry joint problem. What I do is basically you're going to have to open up the unit, so screws off the FB-01, check the cables, magnifying glass. And what you're looking for in terms of a dry joint, if I haven't explained this many times before, but effectively if you look at the solder around a joint, what you'll see is either what looks like a circular piece around where whatever pokes through the board, or you see cracks in the solder. That's probably a pretty good indication you've got a dry joint going on. Hopefully that helps you out, or anybody else who's reading, seeing issues like this. Always look for dry joints. You're going to need a magnifying glass.